Hey people, Rusty Diamonds here with Butterscotch the Bay Horse, back for yet another plushie review. They released another 5 plushies back in February. I'm getting to this review a little late because I got really sick for a while. But anyways, I ended up getting 3 of them. I did not get the Corgi because it doesn't look even remotely like a Webkinz to me. I'm just gonna get that one out of the way. I kinda wish they didn't give it a smile. The Capybara I also didn't get, but I might actually try and get one later because I really did like that one. But you know, $90 in one day, I didn't need it. Okay, so the first one I got, I'm gonna start with this one. The black and white cat. So I don't have a tuxedo cat to compare this one with, but I will say I really like this one. The fur is super soft and nice. This white stuff here really reminds me of like older Webkinz, like the kind of stuff like Love Puppies were made of and stuff. And I'm just really glad to see the string nose. If I'm not mistaken, I think the marble cat had like a button nose and it was like circular. I really didn't like the marble cat. It didn't look even remotely like a cat to me. I will say the legs are still shorter than I'd like. However, I did go back and look, and some of my other Webkinz, first-gen Webkinz, do have the shorter legs. It's just, I don't know why it's more noticeable here. I think it's because they're stuffed more to like stand up. This feels like a slightly cheaper material than the other stuff that they used. I don't know, that doesn't really bother me that much. Same with the whiskers. They're kind of brittle. I don't know if you can really see, but they've already like, you can kind of see them cracking where they bend. The eyes, love them. They're small and they've got that like green rim, but it's not like super pronounced. The head may be a little wider than I'd like. I think it'd be just a little better if it was kind of more of a circle and less of an oval. This is just a weird choice to me. Like, I've heard a lot of people say that they don't like the sparkle fabric because it looks cheap. This just seems like almost like a stubborn insistence to use it because it's the only sparkle fabric, just these 2 itty bitty little triangles of sparkly fabric in the ears. You could have just made them white. It would have saved you, like the same as the paws. They could have just used this short white material. It would have saved them on materials and it would have gotten rid of the frickin' sparkle fabric. Or if you're gonna use that little of one fabric, like just make it normal. Just make it match the nose. I don't know, man. The sparkle fabric insistence is just obnoxious. I don't know. Hang booty is back and bigger than ever. I don't know how many times I can say this. I don't like the hang booty thing. Just cut that back a little bit. And then the only other complaint I have is the tail is stuffed again. And this is crazy to me because the other 2 plushies that I'm going to review have unstuffed tails. And if any of my Webkinz was to have an unstuffed tail, I would have wanted it to be this one because I loved the floppy tails that cats have. I do have an original black and white cat to compare with here, but honestly, this is like apples to oranges. I don't even think these 2 are really comparable. If anything, I would need a tuxedo cat, and I do not own a tuxedo cat. This kind of tail, definitely preferable. It just feels more cat-like. You can do more with it. You can have fun with it. I think everyone who's owned multiple cat Webkinz has played the game where they tie their tails together for some reason. The 3rd gens definitely follow more of the pattern between, like, the 2014 to 2018 Webkinz, I would say. They're not really trying to look like the early 2000s ones. I think that ship is pretty much sailed. I'd say this is pretty in line with something like the tuxedo cat, or even the way that they did like the calico cat, you know? But it is really cute, and I actually really like this one. I enjoy this one quite a bit. And her name is Mia. I did actually name all them before starting the video this time. Okay, so this is the Chocolate Lab. Kara, her name is Kara. This is the one I was the most excited for, and I've got to say there's a couple things here that I have a problem with. I will say, as much as I complain about the sparkle fabric, this is definitely my favorite. The black and the gold is honestly really nice, especially in person. It looks a little dumber on camera, but I still would prefer not using sparkle fabric on what is supposed to be just a regular animal. If this was like a magical puppy, I'd probably not really have any complaints about this, but it's just a chocolate lab. Like, did you need to use this much? The tail is unstuffed and floppy, and I love that. And surprisingly enough, no hang booty on this one.
What the hell's a hang booty?
Look at the cat, you'll understand.
He's got a dump.
He's got a dumpy. Like a case-by-case thing. Am I just super unlucky that I keep getting Webkinz?
No, unpopular opinion, his head's too big for his body.
Actually, I kind of agree. Yeah, it's very stocky. I feel like a lot of these webkinz, these newer webkinz, they just make the bodies too big, too stocky, and a lot of times the head is too big. Because honestly, let me see. Yeah, I kind of wish the cat had a smaller head as well. They're definitely struggling with proportions. I honestly can't judge too hard because I also struggle really hard with proportions. The difference is that I'm not a company. I'm not like, you know, a team of people. I'm like a singular woman in my room, so I don't know. I feel like maybe I can be a little more critical. I don't mind the legs on this one. For this one, it feels like it's less the legs and more the body that's the problem, just from how thick it is. The fact that there's this much fur in her eyes is a little bit frustrating. Like, I really wish they had just used this same length of fabric that they used for the cat. Also, the same quality, honestly. I like this fabric a lot. This feels more plasticky, and it's a little too long for a chocolate lab, I feel. Again, this goes back to the thing I said in my last video, like, this plushie feels a lot higher quality material-wise than this plushie, but they're both $30. Like, I really just wish there was some consistency with the materials. It still feels all over the place. Like, the next one I'm gonna talk about, that I got, also feels like it has really nice, good material, and this one's just an outlier. I like the plastic nose. It's very nice. It's a classic. It's got a mouth, and the mouth is not smiling. See, I prefer that. I've always preferred that on my stuffed animals, even as a kid, because I like to be able to act with them, and it's a lot harder to make a webkin look sad when they have a big old smile plastered on their face. So, a chocolate lab here. Yeah, they look very different. Brownie is in severe need of a bath, I'm sorry. You can see though, like I was talking about, like his legs are about the same length as Kara's legs, but his body is significantly skinnier. Honestly, if I had to choose between the noses, I like the plastic nose better than this. My niece has eaten my yellow lab's nose a little bit, so, you know, these just aren't durable. I definitely prefer the plastic. But overall, here's the thing, I don't think they got the face right on this at all. It's a very cute dog, I like it, but it doesn't look like a brown lab. Labradors' faces, I feel like they got it a little better here. Not necessarily the exact look of a Labrador, but definitely the feel of a Labrador, especially from the side angle. Actually, that looks pretty much exactly like how a Labrador looks. I'm not the only one. I know a lot of people, when they first saw the picture of this one, thought it was a Dachshund. And I think I know why. Like, is this the same pattern? Or at least a very similar one? Because the signature Dachshund looks more like the chocolate lab than the previous chocolate lab does. It's longer and a little narrower. From the front especially, I feel like these two look like they could have been the same pattern almost. If the body was longer, it would just straight up be a Dachshund. So I do like it. It's very cute, and I like having it in my collection. I wouldn't say I'm disappointed. I do enjoy this dog. I just wish that it had shorter fur. And honestly, I don't think it should be called the chocolate lab because it doesn't really look like a chocolate lab to me. Okay, the last one I got is the Highland cow. This one has been the hardest one for me to form an opinion on. His name is Mortimer Moo, but I really don't honestly know how to feel about this one, because to me it does look like it could be a webkin, but it also doesn't really follow, even remotely, the same kind of shape or pattern of any other webkinz cows that I know of. I did bring my brown cow for a comparison, but really it's, again, apples to oranges. This one's face kind of widens out at the bottom. The body is a lot different. The legs are short. The hooves aren't split. Completely different style of nose, like entirely. The eyes are farther apart on this one, like they're really not comparable, and I can't find any webkinz that even remotely looks like this style. Yet oddly enough, it really does fit in quite nicely with my collection. I like this fabric. I don't know if it would have been my first choice for a Highland cow. I feel like if they had made any Highland cows in the first generation of webkinz, it probably would have been shaggy fur, kind of similar to the Yorkie or the White Persian, you know, that kind of thing. but like on a cow, you know? And that stuff is hard to deal with, so I can't really say if I would prefer that. This is not bad. It's really soft. It looks quite nice, honestly. It's nice and like, not curly, but I kind of like the split hoof thing. It's nice. I like it. It gives it some nice shape. The tail is good. It's unstuffed and it's got that little fuzz on the end I do like. I feel like the ears could be a little bigger because like in proportion to the head, they're very small. The eyes, on the other hand, perfect. I love the tiny eyes. They're doing good. Nose, can I stick something in there? No, I can't. Okay. Yeah. I think I prefer the other kind of cow nose where it's just the lines. Because especially with like how nice it is on the horse with this like embroidery line that you can't really pick off. I think I would have preferred something like that, but I don't know. I think it feels like they're trying something new with this one. And I don't know. It kind of works. This one does not stand. He definitely has to sit. I think that might just be mine though. I don't know if all of them are like that. As for it being a Highland cow, I guess it gets the job done. Like, you know, when I think of a Highland cow, I think of something a lot fluffier than this. But it is very cute, and I do love Highland cows, so I think he's good. This Mortimer Moo. Overall, I do think this is probably my favorite batch so far. I feel like I consistently like all three of these a lot more than, like I've had more critiques of the other plushies in the past. So it definitely does feel like there's some improvements being made. I think the two biggest critiques for me personally would be that they're overstuffing them too much, and that the quality is all over the board. Also just, I want the legs to be longer. I feel like I've been a little harsher in some of my reviews, and some of my opinions have changed. I would say probably, out of the ones I've bought, the tiger and the fox are still like the weirdest ones. I'm still not like quite getting used to them. But praline and butterscotch especially. I've really fallen in love with these two quite a bit actually. I really enjoy having them in my collection. I've taken butterscotch out with me in like the town or just to film videos with like multiple times now. So I feel like they're definitely on the right road. Like these are all pretty good. I do like these. I like these plushies and I'm glad I bought them and I enjoy having them in my collection. Odysseus too, my hippo. I do love Odysseus. It's not quite the same, but they're definitely getting better and I'm enjoying them. You know, I am enjoying them. I'm really enjoying going to stores to buy webkinz and picking them out. You know, like being able to pick out the pig that had the spot on its eye. Or like I was comparing the face shapes of the cats and like picking out my favorite of the cats. I really enjoy being able to do that again after so many years of just buying whichever one is cheapest that I can find on Mercari. You know, it's really not the same as buying it in the store. So it has been really nice at very least from that standpoint. But I am finding that I'm enjoying these plushies a lot more than I think I will after the initial purchase. Mia has probably become my favorite in this batch. Using Mia, and I've taken her out a couple times and I'm enjoying it. So yeah, I feel like we're roughly around the same place we were in 2018 at this point. The kinds of plushies we're getting, it's about the same as it was back then. I'm gonna go now. Thank you for watching this video.